So let's start from the most important one right now. And this is what I've been talking about this morning, guys, is the deal stop card process. So we've built this possibly, I would say, a year ago now. So Sam, Terry, I'm not sure if you are extremely familiar with this.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
Yeah, that's exciting to know. Yeah, so it's a very, very simple process, but this is basically what you're going to be using to track and manage all your deals, okay? So let me just start by saying, why do I as an NBD need to start this process? Why do you need to start this process in your role, okay? So it is essential that we qualify each deal to the highest standard, right? And in order to do that, we need some steps to follow. And like Sam and Ramon said, that everyone else within the company, every other NBD within the company has to follow in order for a deal to be qualified and worked on in the right way and successfully. So this sub card process, as you can see on the right hand side here, is very small, but this sub card process will guide you through, basically winning the deal, and it will allow you to track all your deals effectively for both yourself as well as your manager. And you do that by applying a score to each deal and a description to each sales stage, basically. So when I say by yourself and your manager, so let me just make it very, very clear. So if a hunter generates an MQL and will hand that over to yourself as an MBD, you will be their manager through the discovery. So you will be responsible to work with the hunter to score their deal. If the deal, and Sam and Ramon saying for you guys, if the deal is generated by yourself, then you will be the person going into this process, starting it off, add all the relevant information, and then your manager will put a score against, the qualification that you guys completed. Now, what does the deal stop card include? So the deal stop all includes one work item that will go.
Sorry, guys, to interrupt.
No, go for it.
One of the other benefits of a deal stop card, you get a more almost scientific approach to qualifying a deal. So the reason why we implemented stop cards was at one point, a lot of deals continuously slipped.
Yeah.
Some salespeople were a little bit more guilty of that than other people. But what it basically meant, we just didn't ask certain questions to really qualify the deal, assess the risk, and understand the timeframes or the steps that need to be taken. So we've dissected what a normal sales cycle looks like. I think tomorrow we're going through the 4D sales cycle, which is a methodology as much as bad qualification, for example. But there are certain questions that we've identified that are key to move a deal from one sales cycle to another. So the sub card is not as much a checkpoint for your managers or for yourself, for the hunter. It's also a guideline for yourself to really understand where are you in the deal, what are you missing to increase your confidence that the deal is actually coming in. So this should help with stricter qualification for yourself, but also more accurate forecasting in order to manage your pipeline more effectively. And that's one of the biggest reasons why we introduced the deal sub card. The benefit is your manager can look into them and help you drive the deal. And if someone is taking over a deal, they know exactly where we are because everything is documented, right? So it doesn't have to be war and peace, but just a couple of lines so that people know what's going on in the deal. And it also prevents any of your managers to chase you for updates. They can just go into the deal sub card, look into it, and you don't have them constantly on the phone asking you for an update. So you can actually go there out selling rather than providing feedback or updates back to the business.
Yeah. And another benefit as well would be if you're working on expanding an existing account and acquiring new logos, for example, the account manager that is managing that account, for example, BlackBerry, like we've used this morning, will be able to go into your deals for BlackBerry, for their new FOB, and straight away see where you are. And then, again, they can offer to help, to give you some suggestions on, how we can, win that deal based on that knowledge on the account, because they are the account manager. So yeah, great point, Ramon. Yes, so you guys will be doing like a real deep training around this tomorrow, I guess tomorrow morning. So what I'm going to do today, I'm just going to cover like the process overview, high level. I don't want to go into details because this is what you're going to be covering tomorrow for like a couple of hours. But I just want to show you, like how to start the process, how to input the information, and the things basically what you will receive, what you will get as an email in terms of like a summary of basically your deals, okay? And where do you find that? How can you find the deal stop card, etc. Okay, so the deal stop, obviously, like I said, all includes one work item that will go back to itself until the deal is either won, lost, or abandoned. So as you can see on the process flow over here, you've got deal status. If the deal status is set to pipeline, then you can see that it will go back to the same work item. As soon as you set the deal status won, lost, and abandoned, the process will automatically end, and no other actions are required by anyone, basically. Now, the process will take you through all your sales stages. So you have discovery, which is 10 to 30%. You've got diagnose, which is about 40 to 60%, and you've got design, which is 70 to 90%. So we'll take you through and it will help you in each stage of the deal, basically, to kind of, allow you to kind of win it. So what I'm going to do now, so I want to show you like in real life. So what do I need to do to start it, and how do I do that? Okay, so you start this process once you identify the potential leads that you're looking to start working on. Soon as you've got that information, then you want to log into campaign tracking, and let's just do it together. You've got the explanation in here. I want to just do it live. So let's, we've created a deal for Kettle Limited, right? So now we can just go and actually create a deal stop for Kettle Limited. And what I want to do, I want you guys to help me to create a buy screen for Kettle Limited. I want us to put a score, and I want to complete a work item together so that you can see what happens in real time. So to order the deal stop card, you will need to go to storefront, which is the place where you order every process from. And then you will click on catalog of services, which is basically all the processes as a company that we have available. So in here, you've got the view of everything that we're going to be covering today. You can start anything from here. So again, you see I've got 333. You might have more, you might have less, and this is based, you're not going to see the exact same number under your login, because this is based on your role. So if you're within a sales role, you're only going to see e-learnings or processes are relevant to your role. So under the search bar, I'm going to click deal stop and then search. And here you go, deal stop card. Use this service for all new FOP new logo deals to qualify each of the 4D sales stages and score. So basically, next you would just click on order now. And here is the process view, okay? So first thing for all processes that we need to add is always a country. So I would just put United Kingdom where you're based. And then here, we want to find the information about the lead that was just created, okay? So the account name is Kettle Limited. There you go. The FOP name is this one here, guys. It's the most important thing. Always make sure we copy and paste this exactly as we've put it in the funnel. There you go. So if the value doesn't exist, so if your FOP name is brand new, that was never created before, you see, you will get prompted with a message saying this will be permanently added to the drop-down list once it's saved. Okay, so always make sure you spell that correctly. And we've given it a unique name. Okay, so who remembers, Shane, what was the campaign name? Do you remember?
Good question. I think it was lead. I think I wrote it down somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Matt, you can help us too.
Lead or AMI or something like that.
Right, let's try with the account name first. Was it Cat like that? Yes, it was. Okay, cool. So yeah, with Cat Lead Generation 20Q3. Okay, so I'll select that campaign. You can also, by the way, guys, if and again, this is really, really important. If you have, multiple campaigns under one FOP, you can also select both campaigns. So you can select up to 5 campaigns. Sometimes you have one unique FOP, so one unique piece of budget that will be split in different campaigns. So you can select them all at once as long as they are within the same spot, within the same field of place, okay? If it's only one, you just select the one. Now, sales stage, Matt, help me here. What do we put in here? So where is the deal right now? What percentage is the deal? Is discovery? Well done. What is the deal status right now?
Pipelined.
Well done. Who did we put as the NBD account manager?
Who did we put? I think it was Tom Feather.
Let's have a look. I think it should be here. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. And then here, guys, you don't need to put anything in here because currently this is not being generated by Hunter. But if a Hunter was to start this process, they will put their name and the name of the regional sales director. Now, as an example, I'm going to put Louis Gibson as the regional sales director, okay, for this deal. But basically, the regional sales director, you're going to have a much better clarity on that when Louis tomorrow shares the organizational chart. You will understand much better who you're going to be working closely with and who your regional sales director is, yeah? Okay, cool. So I'm going to click on order now and we're ready to go. So we are starting right now a process, okay? So it's just taking a little few seconds and then it's telling us, hey, here we've started deal stop cards and these are the details. Now, what is the next step? What do you guys think the next step is?
If it's
work management.
Yeah.
Well done. I can see Rossini's training is working. Okay. Where do we go next?
I think it's my work items to do the individual ones, is it?
Absolutely, yes. So you can either go to your work item list or you can go to your processes list, right? So work items, you would just find, if we go back to the presentation, this particular work item, not named like that, but basically this particular work item, work, deal, and updates up, right? If you want to see the whole process flow, you can still access the work item through my processes view. So how I currently have my view, I have it filtered by process name, right? So I can easily identify which process I want to go and open up. So in this case, you see, I can see deal stop cards. And if I open that up, I can see all deal stop card that I've got under my name that I started myself. However, just for you to be aware, if an hunter hands over to you a deal and they started the deal stop card, you're not going to see that process under your name. So how to access that will be through the sales pipeline report. Once you're going to get a link in here, you will be able to click on the link and access that particular deal stop card, even if it wasn't started by yourself.
Okay.
Okay, so here you got three options. Abandon it, which we don't want to do. Add the process note, which definitely we don't want to do right now, or we can view the process diagram so that we can go and access the work item. There you go. So you've got the first work item active, which makes sense. And I'm going to click in there. And that's just basically opens up the work item like you would basically do if you go under my work item view. Okay. So FOP name is already filled in. NBD account manager, RSD, we've got all the relevant information already updated in here. What is next? So let me just close them off and I'm going to talk you through the different stages. And I'm going to ask Sam and Ramon to help me here as well, because you guys are the experts at this, right? So here is the deal information. Here you've got next actions required to move the deal forward. And then you've got the 4 sales stages for EMS, okay? So you've got discovery, you've got diagnose. So discovery, 10 to 30, diagnose, 40 to 60, and then the design, you typically do this from when the deal is at 70 to 90%. And then delivery is obviously when the deal is been won, things that you need to do once the deal has been won. Now, discovery, Mr. Ferry, can you tell me what we do at discovery stage for a deal?
Absolutely, right. So discovery is, as Gaia said, between 10 and 30%. So essentially all we're doing there is a first pass to make a decision through our qualification of whether or not to move forward. There's one thing that we can all control as salespeople. What is it?
questions we ask and the information that we get?
Partly, I don't disagree with you, but there's one thing that we have complete control over.
Speaking, jump into mind right now.
So time, right? Where we choose to invest our time. So the discovery process is that critical stage to decide whether or not you're going to move forward with the deal. What most salespeople will do when they get a sniff of money or come up to an amber traffic light is just accelerate and go straight through it. Right? The discovery process is for you to make an informed decision, and an amber traffic light means proceed with caution. Right? So that's essentially what you're doing, making that cautious decision on whether or not there's an opportunity that you want to invest your time in. You can spend as much time working this Kettle Limited deal for £20,000 as you can spend working a Dell EMC deal for £2 million. Right? The deals will be as complex and as hard for you to bring over the line. So discovery is all about doing a thorough qualification process that you'll be supported in through the deal SOP card to make that decision and to make you help the right decision on whether or not you move forward. And that's both a mutual agreement from the client that they're willing to invest the time required their side to let you do a diagnostic process so that you don't start prescribing solutions and basically misdiagnosing stuff without having all of the intelligence to hand. So the critical piece in discovery is make that commitment on both sides that you're going to move forward.
Yeah, that's great explanation, Sam. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And guys, so once the deal is generated by a hunter, it's your job to really make sure you read through their notes and what they, put in here and what they've scored themselves against, what you're going to be scoring them to really make that decision. Is this deal really worth my time? Should I be investing any time? Is this a real deal? Is it compelling enough for me, like Sam said, to spend my time on this rather than, a million deal, for example. So you always need to make that decision. And, most of the time it is, but if it's not, feel free to just push back on the hunter and make sure they get, any information that you feel are required to move the deal forward. And obviously, always bear in mind that deals might not necessarily be 100% qualified really well, but if there is that compelling reason on that particular deal that, the prospect wants to move forward, but we're lacking of time frame, then obviously we can make exception as well now.
Okay.
Cool. Ramon, what is diagnose?
Are you putting me on the spot, guy?
Yay.
It's almost like I've been selling for the last couple of years. I was just a simple business unit director. Diagnose is basically where we want to understand, is there a pain that the client is having that we are able to resolve? So sometimes what clients do, there's a lot of talk about a lot of stuff, about a lot of things they want to do, but there might not be a real reason of why they want to do something. So if the client doesn't understand what the real pain point is, and we can't help them to articulate what the pain is, we won't be able to design a successful campaign in the next phase. So the diagnosis is basically the foundation of any type of campaign or solution we're going to come up with for our clients. And a diagnosis can be several. It can be a lack of pipeline. It can be stagnant pipeline. It can be a lack of inquiries at the top of the funnel. It can be a lack of quality that's coming in. It can be a lack of salespeople actually following up on all the inquiries that they're having. So there's a multitude of challenges our customers can have. But if they're not aware of what the pain points are, we can't really help them, because then you get to the end of the campaign, we haven't solved their underlying issues, and that's where you get dissatisfied customers and they leave. So by spending a lot of time in the diagnose phase to really understand their business, what's going on, what's going wrong, what's working well, what do they want to achieve, how are they achieving that at the moment, what would they like to achieve, all those beautiful questions will help us to really understand or diagnose what is the current issue that the client is facing, why they have engaged us.
Absolutely. That's really good explanation, Ramon. And you see, like throughout the deal stop, again, I'm not going to cover everything in here because you guys are going to do a specific training on that tomorrow, but you've got ways to qualify that, right? So each step you've got business case to spend money, understanding, who signs the PO, quantify the cost of no solve, quantify. So it's not just implication like we have in the discovery. You actually need to quantify the cost of not solving the pain. Who is the champion, right? Who describe the most influential people for this deal? Understanding of the compelling event, understanding of the competitive landscape. So it's basically discovery, but done in a much deeper way. And you guys correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think this is, high level what it is.
Gaia, is there in the help file, is there a list of questions for every sales stage as well?
Yeah, we're gonna go and move on that next.
Okay.
But again, you guys are gonna do like a proper training on that tomorrow. And then the design, guys, is just everything related to design the actual program. So who are we gonna assign? Which business unit do we assign that to? Confirm the budget, the actual physical amount of budget they're gonna invest. Review the proposal that you built, expand the needs, and test close, right? Take the temperature of the client and any objection. It's just more about bringing it to the next level to say this deal is going to close, because you actually got to the point where you achieve the sign stage. Therefore, you spend a lot of your personal time on this deal. So at that point, the idea will be that deal will close. And then obviously we've got deliver, and again here it's giving you all checklists, right, of things that you should be aware at each stage. So every time you get to that stage, you say, we've got checklists. Are we happy that the shape is good and the success criteria are achievable? And then he's telling you, has the NBD to handover process been started? We're going to cover that later on. Are we sure that we will win if we submit a proposal? If not, don't spend your time on it. Right? So it just tells you step by step exactly what you need to do to win a deal. So it's the perfect process for you to use to, make sure we manage the deal effectively. And then as you can see, guys, here, you've got something called self-score and manager score. Now, self-score is based on the information that you've put within the situation, the pain, the implication, the need, etc. How strongly do you reckon this situation is for this company? And then you can add a score between 0 and 5. So if you feel you've got no situation at all, so you don't have any understanding of the situation, then you will score yourself at 0. If you have a good understanding, I will score myself at 3. If I have really an amazing understanding of so many details, then I will score myself at 5. Okay, but we always need to make sure we are very honest, right? Because then you've got someone else reviewing that at the same time when you do deal reviews. And then if you override the little eye icon, it tells you exactly what 0 to 5 mean and when you should be using it. And then you would do that throughout all discovery, diagnose, design. So you put your score against everything at each stage, basically, when you're doing deal reviews. And then here is telling you how much each stage should score before moving into the next stage. Now, one thing we've realized, and we were used to do all the time as a company, is that we were used to complete discovery and we and arrive to the sign point, and then we will lose the deal. And when we were looking back, we realized actually we didn't really have a good understanding of the implication or their actual need of what they were actually looking for. We didn't have a good understanding of their pain, right? So by actually scoring your deal and meeting the minimum score, that will give you a great idea of actually this is ready to move into the next phase. So, always make sure you meet the minimum score unless you have some exception before you move into the next sales stage. Any questions, Matt and Shane?
I'd like to understand the kind of scoring element a bit better. 0 to 5. Say, for example, the question was, do you understand or describe the company's current situation?
Yeah.
By 5, do you mean there's a really clear kind of reason within the situation for this? Is it kind of like the deal likelihood to go ahead?
Yeah, I'll help you out there a little bit, Mark. I think it's a good question because it is a bit of a self-assessment piece, right? But if I said to you, company is looking to grow their revenues in EMEA by 5 million, right? How good of an understanding do I have of what they're actually trying to achieve?
So I would say like a 3.
Yeah, I mean, I would say a 2, right? Because you've got a number. But when do they want to grow it by? When they say EMEA, what countries are they talking about? Why? Why do they want to grow by 5 million? What set the objective at 5 million? Right? And in terms of what happens if they don't hit that 5 million? What's the implication? What's the implication on the business? What's the implication on the individual who's got that target to carry? They're the difference between a 2, a 4, and ultimately a 5. Right? A 5 would be companies losing market share to their nearest competitor. Their competitor is growing through the channel. When they're growing through the channel, they're taking the loyalty from their partners. They've lost 10 partners this year. Those partners accounted for 2 million of revenue. They need to replace that revenue. Otherwise, they're not going to get a foothold in there. They won't get the budget from next year to reinvest in marketing, and therefore they won't reclaim their market share.
Okay, so it might be intentional then, because I was thinking that depending on how much detail you go into, you kind of start to hit the diagnose phase.
You do, yeah. It isn't designed that way, but there is sort of Brucey bonus points available. So you can bleed discovery into diagnose, and naturally, if you're inquisitive as a salesperson, you're going to bleed into that a little bit, because someone's going to give you their first outcome, and you're going to think, well, why the bloody hell do they want to do that? And what happens if you don't do that? And tell me more about it. And what else, right? And then you will bleed into diagnostic. But they do have sort of defined characteristics, where one is what's your situation, pain, implication, and need. Diagnostic is more like quantify it for me. Tell me your alternatives. Who else are you considering? What else are you? Where does this sit in your business priorities? Who else is involved in it? Where is it in their priorities? You know, that sort of.
Yeah, and then in addition to that, if you write on each of these boxes a situation pain, it tells you exactly what's required. So, for example, situation validate that the company fits our ITP, and document our understanding of the current situation. Pain, you see, like it just gives you step by step exactly what's required, and within, if you go down to diagnose, you've got decision criteria. You see it's much more detailed, right? The things that you need to get in each sales stage.
So I'm kind of getting it, like if I was to read that and say, how much can you do understand the business as a question, 5 would be like, I have all the information, and kind of
5 like that. 5 is there's nothing that I don't know, basically. Right?
Yeah.
I've read their most recent board paper. I know what they're saying to their shareholders. I know exactly what their objectives and strategies are, what their priorities are. People are going through mergers and acquisitions, product portfolios, all of that sort of shit. That's a 5.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Shane, have you got any questions?
Yeah, it was just a case of knowing what sort of right questions to ask, but then that kind of covers that little help tip bar it's basically digging and getting obviously as much information as you can to lead on to the next process, which is diagnose. But that's quite helpful, knowing that you've got little pointers to kind of cover the sort of right questions that you can ask.
Yeah, and there is more, guys. So let's go through the next action, and there is even more than that. So in terms of next action, so you can see that's the second box, right, from the top. Now here what we did, right, we've created a SMART table. Who can tell me what SMART means? Like the definition of SMART, SMART.
Is it like an objective?
Specific, is it measurable, achievable, relevant, or realistic, and then time frame?
Yeah, well done. Love it. Yeah, love it. So basically, we kind of try to make it as much as possible like that, right? So for example, right, you have got outcome of the action. So you got up to 8 actions that you can pull. If you need more space, then you override. But what we've seen is that you don't really need more than 8 to get a deal to close, right? So you've got, for example, what is the outcome? So let's say that we just qualified an SAL, right? So we completed the discovery phase. Now we want to move into the diagnose stage, right? So the outcome is to have, in fact, to have a call, right, with the client to complete diagnose stage, right? That's just an example, right? How will you achieve that? So we've got a call booked with Mr. Ketum, okay? Who is responsible for this action, okay? Sam Ferry, right? Sam Ferry is responsible for this action. When is the due date? So when is the call that we've got with the client? On next Tuesday, 14th of April. What is the status of this action? New, okay? So this basically gives you a smart table, and anyone that goes in this table will be able to see exactly what's happening with the deal. But more than anyone, it's for you guys to track your deals, right? So when in the morning you open up the sales report and filter by all the deals that are under your name, you will be able to click into each deal subcard and open it up and just say, oh, actually, I've got a call coming up with that prospect on the 14th of April. Or actually, look, I've got an outstanding action to build a proposal and send it to the client by Wednesday next week. So you've got basically the list of things that are required for each deal in order for it to close. So that's what you do in this table. And then all you basically do is click save, right? And then that will save all the data that you input in there. Now, what I wanna share with you is that you guys are asking about a question like how do I know which question to ask for each sales stage? And that's a great question, right? You need some help. You've never been in EMS before. You don't know what EMS does and how we do things, right? So what we've got a help file in this form. So every work item for each process will have a help file, okay? If I click on help, what we've got here is we've got a file that will give you all different piece of help to basically close the deal. So the first thing will be to watch the 4D e-learning video. So this is a video that explains to you everything involved in the discovery, diagnose, design, and delivery. 4D basically. So that's an actual piece of e-learning. Okay. On top of that, we've created Big Fat Claim. And again, I'm touching these guys at very high level because you're covering this with Louis tomorrow, so I don't want to give you too many information. But Big Fat Claim are basically what are the Big Fat Claim that EMS can make, right, when you're having conversation with the client, right? So you've got make a Big Fat Claim, state the fact, state the benefit, state another benefit, and then provide evidence to support your claim, right? So this is what EMS service offering covers entire sales marketing waterfall across 40 And then delivery, you don't have any questions because typically delivery is when the deal has been won, but it just tells you exactly what basically needs to be done at delivery stage from a process point of view. Did that answer your questions, guys, in terms of questions?
Yeah, no, that's really useful.
Mr. Ferry, did you know that was that?
Yeah, I've seen it. I didn't know that you could print off all of the big fat claims and stuff, so that's quite impressive.
Yeah, you can print it off. And by the way, guys, when we're going to come back, I've created a deal stop marketing pack for hunters, where I just literally put them like in a really nice folder, laminated everything. So I'll create one for you that includes discovery, diagnose, design, and big fat claims. So you can have it just on your desk, and every time you're on a call, you can just open it up straight away rather than go into the process.
Okay, yeah, Guy, I'll have one of them.
Yeah, of course. As long as you don't lose it.
I won't lose
it. You.
Yeah, I'll have one of them, please.
Okay, I'll keep checking if you lost it though.
Yeah.
That takes a long time to prepare. Okay. I did take you Zebra when you left to go to open market, didn't I?
Yeah.
The little Zebra that you had in your desk. So I think I can make one for you. Cool. Okay. Great. So we've done that. We've done the next actions, right? So let's just quickly do a quick test here. I'm just going to put some fake information. Let's say that we're filling in the spin up. Okay. So I'm just going to put test for now. And then I'm just going to score myself something. But I want to show you what happens next, because this is really, really useful thing to have. So I'm scoring myself. I should score myself at 0, really, but if we really want to look at it. Okay, so I've put test, I filled in the next action. So what I want to do now is complete. Okay, now by clicking complete, you see, now the deal status, because it's pipeline, what's going to happen is an email, this little box here is like an automated email. So anytime you see this little process box, this is a work item, a piece of work that needs to be completed by someone, and this is an email. Okay, so look what happens. So this is completed now, and the deal stop pipe email automated is green. So it's basically the process is telling us I'm trying to send an email. So let's just wait a couple of seconds because I want to show you in real life what happened. So I'm going to go to my email now, and let's have a look what I just received. Yeah, so let me close that off and reopen it. But basically, in real time, guys, you will be, as soon as you click complete, everyone involved in the deal, such as the regional sales director, the NBD, as well as myself and Louis Gibson, who are the people that like manage really like the this process. You see, you will be able to see this email over here straight away. So as we can see, Tom Feder is the person that was put as the NBD. Myself, because I'm the person that started the deal stop. If you had a hunter will have received this email as well. And Louis Gibson, who is obviously the VP of Sales and Marketing. As you can see here, in an email, every time you do this, you can do that 20 times a day. You will receive 20 emails. Every update you make, as soon as you click complete, you will receive this email. It's telling you the self-score of the deal. Once the manager receives this email, the manager action will be to go in and add their score against what you've written. And then below here, we've got the next action for this deal, okay? So outcome, how will you achieve it, responsible due date, and next action status. So once that's completed, go and update that in the process, click complete, and then you receive an email with the action status as completed. And then here below, you've got all the qualification details. So again, you don't need to go and find the process, because straight away, you can just go back to the email and find all the relevant information that you've put for the deal. And then additionally to that, if you want to re-access the process, because let's say you want to change that action from new to completed, simply just click the link in the email and it will bring you directly back in the work item where you can update the action to completed or late or whatever the action status is. Nice. Any question from you, Sam and Ramon?
None from me.
You're all good? Good. Perfect. Okay, so that's the deal stop, guys. So anything anything and any other question you might have, I will send out this presentation, but any other question you might have, once you start working on this, just come to me directly. Any feedback you might have on, making Kaizen, which is, improve the process. Again, I manage this directly, so just let me know directly. And just to let you know as well, guys, every 3 months, I ask NBDs and Hunter to give me a quick video of feedback on the deal stop card process that we can collect all together and make additional improvement to this process to make it even better.
Hey guys, do you know what Kaizen means or where it comes from?
I don't know where it comes from. I've heard it used before, but no, I'd be interested to know.
It's a Japanese word. It's a Japanese word. And it basically is the equivalent of constant and never-ending improvement. So Kaizen is optimizing. So for example, we have a process on paper. You translate that process in its entirety into digital, and then you start optimizing it over time. So a Kaizen process, you can have like 20, 30, 40 different versions of the same process. You can constantly improve it over time. I forgot what, you can break it out in Kai and Zen. There's like 2 different meanings. Forgot what that means.
Yeah, Kai is continuous and Zen is improvement.
Yeah.
I think you just made it up, Ferry.
It's continuous.
Right, so I already...
No, it's a Kai means change and Zen means good.
Exactly. So something like good change, and it translated constant, never-ending and constant improvement. So the Kanai principle.
Yeah.
And you will hear that quite a lot in the IMS. As much as we are obsessed with processes, we are even more obsessed with improving those processes. So we literally have a team that we call Black Belt that is not doing nothing but optimizing operational and sales processes to give us the edge in the market, so we can differentiate ourselves from our competitors. Exactly.
Yeah. And just to let you know, guys, I take ownership of, so I am in that team as well, and I take ownership of the deal stop card, of the NBD to handover, and the MSA and SOW process. So any updates that need making to these processes, just come directly to me with feedback, and we'll look to understand why we want to make them and eventually decide to make them.
Okay. It all looks really comprehensive so far, and I think I've struggled to find something wrong with it, but I'll try.
Oh, please try harder.
Yeah.
There's a challenge.
Challenge accepted.
Good.